Oi, tudo bem? This is Luciana from Street Smart Brazil. Imagine getting late to that special date in Brazil because you didn't understand the time. No one wants that to happen, right? Today I will show you all you need to know in order to ask and say the time in Portuguese. I will show you 3 major rules and 11 quick tips to say the time correctly in Portuguese and avoid common mistakes. But first things first, to say the time or to understand it when someone tells you the time, you need to know the numbers. And I happen to have a video lesson on the numbers. The link is in the video description and also on the little I at the top right of the screen. So first I will show you 3 ways to ask the time in Portuguese. As usual with my lessons, I encourage you to follow with the blog post because I have all the examples there. I have more explanations and links to additional resources. So let's see how you can ask the time. Most common way, in my opinion, que horas são? So 2 pronunciation tips. You can say que or que. And then the other 2 words, you see horas ends with an S and são starts with an S. So we tend to put the 2 together. I'll read the whole thing again. Que horas são? Que horas são? Tem horas? Tem horas? Que horas? So this is a simple way when you're comfortable with the person you're talking with, you can just say que horas. Now I will show you how to say the time. First, the really simple way. 3:10. So you see, in English you would say 3:10, but in Portuguese you need to say 3 and 10. So that's the difference. Let me say this one again. 3:10. And here is the full sentence. São 3:10. São 3:10. And how would you say 10 to 4? São 10 para as 4. São 10 para as 4. And here's a tip. In spoken Brazilian Portuguese, usually we get this para as and we contract it and it becomes pras. São 10 pras 4. Again, são 10 pras 4. Now, 3 things that you need to know, 3 rules that are important for you to be comfortable saying the time. The first one is that in Portuguese we use the verb ser. So in English it is 3 o'clock, you use the verb to be, but in Portuguese you could be wondering, is it ser or is it estar? It's the verb ser, as we've seen in the examples I already gave you. São 3:10. São 3:10. Que horas são? Que horas são? Second thing to know, use the number for the hour in the feminine. So the number 1 has a masculine and has a feminine uma. The number 2 as well has the masculine form dois and has the feminine form duas. So when you're saying the time, horas is a feminine word. So the number that refers to the hour needs to be in the feminine. So here's the example. Uma hora. Uma hora. 2 horas. 2 horas. And number 3, the verb ser agrees with the nearest number. Let me explain. In English, you use the verb to be in the singular. It is 3 o'clock. But in Portuguese, the verb ser agrees in number, meaning singular or plural, with the first number that you say. So here's an example. When I'm saying 3:10, são 3:10. I have the verb in the plural because I have 3 as the number closest to it. But look at this one. É 1:10. I have a singular number now, so I say the verb in the singular. É 1:10. Great, let's see now 11 quick tips about the time. First, we don't use the format 10 past 3. We just say 3:10. To say midday, meio-dia. Meio-dia. To say midnight, meia-noite. Meia-noite. To say half an hour, meia hora. Meia hora. Well, therefore, when you're saying 6:30, you can say the numbers 6:30, or you can say 6.5 hours. You can say 6:30. 6:30. To say 12:30 p.m., meio-dia e meia. And the reason I'm showing this specific example is because so many Brazilians say this wrong. They say meio-dia, but then they put the last word in the masculine. They say meio, but we're talking about a half hour. So it's feminine. It has to be in the feminine. Meio-dia e meia. Tip number 7. If you want to say it's a 2:45 or 2:45 in this case, we don't use the word quarter to say the time in Brazil. We say it's 4:15. Here's the example. São 4:15. São 4:15. To say the AM times, da manhã. So 10 a.m., são 10 da manhã. For the PM, we actually have 2 ways to say it. For the afternoon, da tarde. São 4 da tarde. For the evening hours, da noite. São 11 da noite. And here's one that I really like a lot. For the times between 1 and 5 a.m., we actually have a specific word. We call that time madrugada. So if you're saying 2 a.m., you say 2 da madrugada. Finally, I want to remind you that in Brazil, we use the military time format, especially when we're talking about formal occasions like business meetings, flight times. So on the blog post, I have the military hours for you and a little trick to help you memorize it. Great, thank you so much for watching the lesson. I hope this will help you when planning meetings and fun outings in Brazil. And if you want to feel really confident about your Portuguese, learn with Street Smart Brazil. Book a trial lesson with us to get started. Thank you so much. Muito obrigada. Bye bye.